Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and in today's video we are working on part 2 of our Manny the Moose crochet along. In this part we are going to be working on the body, the arms, and the legs. So let's get started. Alright, so moving on to the body here, we're going to move back to our brown yarn. And we are going to start off the body with a magic ring. And inside the magic ring, we're going to place 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just pull that and grab our stitch marker. Moving on to round 2, we're going to do an increase round. So 6 increases, an increase in each stitch for a stitch count of 12. If I can get my hook here in this very first stitch. There we go. So it's increase stitch, remember 2 single crochets in 1. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, moving on to round 3, we're going to do single crochet 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Round 4 is going to be the combination single crochet 1 and an increase. So single crochet 1, increase. We'll do this a total of 6 times for a stitch count of 18 at the end. All right, for round 5, we're going to do single crochet 18. 1, 2, 3. I will complete this round off camera and I'll meet you back here for round 6. All right, moving on to round 6, we're going to do the combination single crochet 2 and an increase. 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, increase. We'll repeat this 6 times for a stitch count of 24. All right, moving on to round 7, we're going to do single crochet 24. 1, 2, 3. I'll complete this round off camera and I'll meet you back here for round 8. All right, moving on to round 8, we're going to do the combination single crochet 5 and increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an increase. Repeat that a total of 4 times. 2, 3, 4, and 5, and an increase. And you should have 28 stitches at the end, around 8. All right. For round 9, we're going to do single crochet 28. For round 10, we're going to do the combination single crochet 3 and increase. 1, 2, 3, and increase. We'll repeat this 7 times for a stitch count of 35. 3, increase. I will complete this round off camera and I'll meet you back here for the next step. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's up to round 10 completed. Now moving on to round 11, we're just going to do single crochet 35. Right. Round 12, we're going to do the combination single crochet 4 and increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. And we're repeating this 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. And you should have a stitch count of 42 at the end of this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. So I'll finish this round off camera and I'll meet you back here for round 13. All right, now moving on for rounds 13, 14, 15, and 16, so 4 rounds, we're going to do single crochet 42. So 1 single crochet in each stitch around for the next 4 rounds. So I will complete these ones off camera again, and then I will meet you back here for round 17. All right, so this is what we're looking like after up to round 16. So now we're going to start decreasing down. So for round 17, we're going to do the combination single crochet 4 and a decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease. And we'll repeat this 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease. And your stitch count should be 35 again now. All right, and then for round 18, we're going to do single crochet 35. So 1 single crochet in each stitch around, 2, 3, 4. I'll finish this round off camera and then I'll meet you back here. All right, moving on for round 19, we're going to do the combination single crochet 3 and a decrease. 1, 2, 3, decrease. And again, we're going to repeat this 7 times. 1, 2, 3, decrease. And you should have a count of 28 at the end of this round. All right. Now before we get to the next round here, we're going to place our stuffing. So I'm just going to grab my fiber fill here. And I'm going to start stuffing. Now, I don't necessarily make my stuffies like this anymore with the body being so pointy at one end. I'll just bring you out a little bit. I just found that it was kind of like a waste of space because that part is going to be crocheted down and it's really hard to stuff that area. But I have to revamp this pattern a little bit, but this is what it is currently. So we'll show you how it is currently. If I do make any changes, I can let you guys know for sure. This is one of the first patterns I ever created. It still remains to be one of my favorites. So all I'm doing is just sweeping the stuffing out to the edges and then filling in the center. Just like that. And then we'll move on to round 20. We're going to do the combination single crochet 2 and a decrease. I'll bring you back in. It's hard for me to lift and crochet when it's stuffed like this, so I'm just going to leave it kind of sitting on the table here. So single crochet 2 and a decrease, and again we're repeating this 7 times. 1, 2, decrease. Your stitch count should be 21. It is harder to crochet once there's stuffing in, so just give yourself some grace with that. All right, for round 21, we're going to do the combination single crochet and a decrease. Single crochet, decrease. We're going to repeat this 7 times again, and we should have 14 stitches at the end of this round. I'll just complete this round off camera and then I'll meet you back here. All right, and then you can just add a little bit more stuffing if you need to. We're going to start our final round right away here, and then the hole will be decently small, so I would just add whatever stuffing you want to add now. So for our final round, round 22, we're just going to do 7 decrease stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just going to take my stitch marker out. I'll bring you back out a little bit. And I'm just going to cut a little tail here. Don't need a long tail for this one. Just pull that through. Now if you need to add any more stuffing before we finally close up this hole, you can. Next, we're just going to take our smaller crochet hook and just go under the front loop and pull through our tail of each stitch all the way around. You can pull along the way and it will slowly close your hole there. just like that. One final pull, and then just to secure that, I'm just going to place a knot here. Cut this down again a little bit. And weave in our ends here. And there is our completed body. All right, so once we have finished our body, we are going to sew it onto our head. So just grab your head. Now, I'm going to do my best to show you guys this on camera here. It's kind of difficult, but basically what we're going to do here is we are going to place our body on the underside of our head, anywhere around 15 to 21 rounds. So we'll count back. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So around here, it could be 16, between 15 and 16, whatever you think looks the best for your stuffy. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. Between 21 and 22. So it's going to look like this. And we're going to have it angled a little bit forward. So that's how we are going to attach. Now, we're going to attach rounds 4 of the body. And what I want you to do is just cut a strand of about 16 inches of yarn, of your brown yarn here, and put it on your darning needle. And we're going to stick it into round 4. So just pick the side of your body that you want to be the front. So this will be the front of my body. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to stick my yarn in here just so that I have it ready to go. Now I'm just going to temporarily place my body here between my spots that I've made. And I'm going to take my knitting needle again here, and I'm going to stick it right in the top of my head and push it all the way into the body. Just like that. That's just going to anchor it. I know that the snout is really in the way of the camera here, but I'm just going to anchor it and make sure that this is exactly where I want it to be. And then once I'm happy with that position, I'm just going to start sewing on one into the body and then into the head. And I'm just going to work my way all the way around. This is kind of the hardest part in my personal opinion because the head's so big that I kind of find it difficult to sew on. So just take your time. Take that pin out so I don't lose it. Okay, and then I'm going to take my pin out here, my knitting needle there. And I'm just going to take a look at how it's looking. And then I like to just pull the head down ever so slightly. So how I do that is I'm just going to push my needle down a couple rows, maybe 3 rows. And then I'm going to push down my head a few rows, and I'm going to insert my needle here. And I'm going to go right back into that spot again. I'm going to push that out. And I'm going to move this other end so that I can tie them all together. It's in the way, so. All right, so that just pulled the head down a little bit. It's not a massive difference, but it does add a little bit to it, I think. And then once I'm happy with the placement of that, I'm just going to tie off a knot here. Cut my tails. And I'm just going to weave that in. Go. Pulling out stuffing by accident there. All right, so there is my head all done and my body all done. Next up, we're going to work on the arms and the legs. All right, so once we have the body all attached, we're going to move on now to the arms. So to start with the arms, we're going to start off with our color B yarn. So whatever yarn you used for the antlers is what we're going to use here for the beginning of our arms. So to start off, we're going to start off with a magic ring again. And inside the magic ring, we're going to place 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull that and place our stitch marker. Now for round 2, we're going to do an increase round. So 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we should have 12 stitches at the end of this round. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, moving on for round 3, we're going to do the combination single crochet 1 and an increase stitch. So 2 single crochets in 1. And we're going to repeat this a total of 6 times. And your stitch count should be 18 at the end of this round. All right, round 4, we're going to do single crochet 18. So 1 single crochet in each stitch around for round 4. All right. Now for round number 5, we're going to decrease down. So we're going to start with a combination single crochet 1 and a decrease. So decrease again, grabbing the front loop of those 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Repeat this 6 times, single crochet, decrease, and you should have 12 stitches again. All right, and then moving on to round 6, we're going to do that exact same thing, single crochet, decrease, but this time we're only going to repeat it 4 times, and your stitch count should be 8. All right, now, before we move on, we are going to start stuffing. So I'm just going to first stuff with my yarn tail here. And then I'm just going to grab a little bit of my fiber fill and start stuffing. It's not going to take a lot for this guy. It's smaller for sure. And we can continue to stuff, so it doesn't have to be exactly how you want it, just a good shape like that. Now what we're going to do, So from our last stitch of round 6, I'm going to just pull that last loop out. So I just have the 2 loops from my single crochet. And what I'm going to do is we're going to change colors here. So I'm going to grab my brown yarn. I'm going to put my hook back into these 2 loops here. And I'm going to take my brown yarn here and I'm going to finish off this single crochet with my new color. And that will end off my old color. You won't be able to really tell. And then all I'm going to do is tie off these ends together, just like that. And I'm just going to rip that because I lost my scissors. And I'm just going to stuff these tails right into my hand area here. And now we have our new color on here. So now moving forward for rounds 7 through 15, so 9 rounds, we're going to do single crochet 8 with this new color. Single crochet 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to do that for all 9 rounds from round 7 to 15. So I'm going to complete these rounds off camera and I will meet you back here at the end of round 15. All right, I've done 4 rounds here. I just wanted to mention that we're going to continue to stuff as well. Every few rounds, just keep stuffing because if you leave it to the end, it's definitely more difficult. It's not impossible, but more difficult to stuff. So just continue to stuff as you go. I'm going to keep going and continue these rounds off camera, and then I will meet you back here at the end of round 15. All right, so I have finished up to round 15 and I took my stitch marker out because this is our last round, and I'm just going to slip stitch into this next stitch. And I just want to leave about that 12 inches of slack here for sewing. Now I will say my personal preference, and you don't have to do this, but I personally don't like to stuff the last about 2 rounds of the arm because when we're sewing it on, I find that if this is overstuffed, you're going to have really broad shoulders in your moose. So that is totally personal preference. If you like that look, then you just stuff, and if not, then just leave those last 2 to 3 rows empty, and it will kind of look a little bit more uniform. So go back and make 1 more arm, and then we'll meet back here to sew it on. All right, so I have made 2 arms here, and now we are going to sew them on. So I'm just going to grab my body here. And again, this guy's really big, so I'm going to do my best here to make sure that I can show you exactly what I'm doing. But again, I'm going to be using my knitting needle here. Just because I find that is the easiest way for myself. So on your arm here, you're going to notice that there's a section here where there's the color change. You want that to be on the back. So you should have the clean color change area in the front. And I always like to have my strand of yarn on one end or the other. So I'm going to sew mine on like this. Now we sewed the head onto the body on around round 4. So we're going to sew our arms onto round 6. So there should just be 1 round here, round 5. And then we're going to attach to round 6. So I'm just going to roughly place my arm here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. On round 6. And I just want to make sure that I have a good placement for that. So it looks something like that. And you just want them to be kind of in line here with where the ear is. It's kind of how you want to gauge it on both sides, that you are as even as possible there. So once I'm happy with the placement there, I'm just going to take my darning needle and I'm going to start sewing this guy on. Now it is more difficult sewing on with the knitting needle when I'm trying to film it. It's a lot easier when you're not filming, but just so you guys get an idea of what I'm doing here. All right, I'm just going to take this out here and I'm going to sew along the bottom. Just doing stitch for stitch. And then again, similar to what we did with the ear, I personally don't like when my arms and legs are flopping around. So I'm going to just secure mine down a little bit here, and I want it secured probably about 3 to 4 rounds down here. And again, this is totally optional. You do not have to do this. This is really just a personal preference thing. So I've just gone down about 4 rounds. I'm going to find where it matches up on my arm here. Go through there. I'm going to go back into the body. And then I'm just going to push that back to the back of the body here to secure it down. And there's one arm attached. So I'm going to go and complete sewing on the other arm here off camera, and then I will meet you back here. All right, so once our arms are attached, all I'm doing here on the back is tying together my strands of yarn from each arm. And that's just going to secure it down. And they should be through the same stitch, so you don't get any indenting in your body here. And then I'm just going to cut this. And I'm going to take my smaller crochet hook here and weave in those ends there. And of course, I got a ton of shedding, so I'm just going to clear that. And there is our arms all attached to our body. All right, next we're going to move on to the legs. So same thing, we're going to start off, and I'll bring you in again here. We're going to start off here with our beige yarn that we started with again with our arms. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to start off with a magic ring for round 1. And we're going to make 8 single crochets within the ring here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I'm just going to grab my stitch marker. Moving on to round 2, we're going to do an increase round. So an increase stitch in each stitch around. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you should have 16 stitches at the end of this round. All right. For round 3, we're going to do the combination single crochet 1 and increase. Single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, and we'll repeat this 8 times for a stitch count of 24 at the end of round 3. I'll be right back, and I'll meet you back here for round 4. All right, moving on to round 4, we're going to do single crochet 24. So 1 single crochet in each stitch around. All right, for round 5, we're going to do the combination single crochet 1 and a decrease. Single crochet and a decrease. Single crochet and a decrease. We're going to repeat this 8 times. And you should be back down to 16 stitches at the end of round 5. All right, moving on to round 6, we have the combination single crochet 2 and a decrease. 1, 2, decrease. And we're going to repeat this a total of 4 times. 1, 2, decrease. And your stitch count should be 12 at the end of round 6. Decrease. 1 more. 1, 2, decrease. All right. So that is the end of our beige yarn. So what I'm going to do is same thing for that we did for the arm. We're going to change colors. So I'm just going to end this last stitch of round 6 here with the new brown color. And I'm just tying those ends together to secure that and cutting that tail. And then I'm just going to stuff with my yarn ends, and I'm going to stuff this section as well prior to moving on. All right, so once we are stuffed, we're moving on to round 7. So for rounds 7 through 13, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 7 rounds, we are going to do single crochet 12. So just 1 single crochet in each stitch around for rounds 7 through 13. So I will complete these rounds off camera, and then I'll meet you back here at the end of round 13. All right, so once we have gotten to round 13 of our leg here, I'm just going to lightly stuff again. Same kind of concept. I don't want to overstuff up all the way to the top. I just like to leave the top a little bit more empty. And then we're going to do one more round here, round 14, which is going to be a full decrease round. So we have 12 stitches right now, so we're going to do 6 decrease stitches to get us down to 6 stitches total. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Just remove our stitch marker there, and I'm going to just place a slip stitch. Again, about a 12-inch strand of yarn for sewing, and I'm just going to pull that all the way through. Now again, we'll just need to make one more of these, so we'll go back and make one more, and then I'll meet you back here to sew it on. All right, so I have both my legs completed, and now we're going to sew them on. So I'm going to do my body again. Now, if you have the PDF version of this pattern, when I originally made this pattern, I just kind of sewed these on right at the bottom, which you can absolutely do. But now I kind of like sewing them on the side a little bit, like this, and then securing them kind of in this position. I just find that looks a lot cuter. So that's what I'm going to do in this video tutorial, but if you prefer doing it like the PDF straight on the bottom, you can absolutely do that. In my original pattern, I attached them to rounds 18 of the body like this. So I will leave it up to you for what you prefer. But I'm just going to grab my darning needle here. Now, for the arm here, we're in round 6. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'll probably attach these to round 16 of the body. And I'm going to attach them directly in line with my arm. Again, you can use the knitting needles. You guys kind of get the picture with those. They're hard to show you on camera here, trying to sew it on with them on. So I'm just gonna kind of YOLO here. So I'm just sewing these on. And then once the leg here is attached, what I like to do is I like to just pull it down about, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 to 4 rounds, like this. And same thing, I'm just going to find where that meets up in the leg. And I'm just going to put my needle through there. And I'm going to put it back in here, and I'm going to just fish it out underneath. So that's what that looks like attached. You just want to make sure that it's in line with your arm. That's kind of how you're going to gauge it. So I'm going to attach the other leg the same way, and then I will meet you back here at the end of that. Okay, so now I have those attached here. I'm just going to tie a knot to secure that down. Just pull decently tight. Just not too tight that you break your yarn. I've done that quite a few times. And then I'm just going to cut my yarn. And I'm just going to weave in my yarn ends here. And there we have our legs all attached. All right, our last step is to just place the nostrils here. So I've got my black yarn. I'm just using medium weight black yarn. You can use any color. You can use an off color of brown. You can use gray. You can use black, whatever you want. So all I'm going to do with my darning needle here is on the side of the snout here, I'm just going to insert my needle around row 5. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the bottom of round 5, and I want it kind of in line with my eye here. I'm going to pull that through a little bit. Next, we're going to go up 2 rounds, and I'm going to push it over, same area, making sure it's in the same round. See, I don't think I am in the same round here. So I just pulled through, so there's one nostril there. So now I need to move this down because I'm not in the same round. And I'm going to go down 2, and I want it just angled inwards like this. So I'm just going to go push that to meet up with the original strand. Sometimes this stuff takes a little bit of trial and error. I've, taken out and redone it so many times before just to make sure that it looks right. So that's kind of what we're looking like for the nostrils. And once you're happy with that, all I do is tie a little knot. And you don't want to tie it too tight, or else you will pull your yarn into that fluffy yarn and you won't be able to see it. If you're using fluffy yarn for this, then you can probably pull it tighter, but it's If you're using medium weight yarn like I am, just want to be a little bit careful with that. And then I'm just going to weave in this yarn ends here. Here we go. And then I just like to go back and lift that a little bit because sometimes when you're tying off it disappears. So there are our nostrils. And there is our completed Manny the Moose crochet along. I really hope you guys enjoyed this pattern. This is one of my favorites. It does take a long time. It is pretty large. I'll just measure this for you. So we're looking at about 12 inches long, and at the widest point, which is the antlers here, we're at about 11 inches, 11 and a half, 12. So it's a big stuffy, but it's really cute, super cuddly, and if you love oversized stuffies, you will love this. It can also be made in a medium weight worsted yarn if you prefer that over the plush. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you tag us on our Instagram in any photos that you post. Otherwise, we hope you guys have a lovely day and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!